Welcome back to Flashbacks. I'm Tony from Comic Book Fans United, and today on Flashbacks, I'm going to be talking about the two-part crossover Legends of Today and Legends of Yesterday. So first up we have Hawkman, or Carter Hall, or Prince Khufu, whatever you want to call him. It looks like they're going with the reincarnated storyline for Hawkman and Hawkgirl in the series. And I know I speculated about them using Planet Thanagar, but that was really me just hoping that the series would open up for space characters. But it looks like they're sticking with the Golden Age origins that was actually revisited in the comic Brightest Day. Hawkman got his start in Flash Comics #1 alongside Hawkgirl, Jay Garrick, and a character named Hot Set, who I will cover in just a moment. He's essentially, like they presented in the series, a reincarnated prince along with Kendra Saunders, and they have to find each other throughout their lifetimes when they're constantly reincarnated, and they're always being tracked down by a character named Hot Set. They wear nth metal harnesses, and they operate as archaeologists out of St. Roque. So Hawkman and Hawkgirl's greatest villain is a man by the name of Hot Set, and in the show we find out that he's been tracking them down for thousands of years, over 200 lifespans, and every time he kills them, he prolongs his own immortality. In the comics, however, Hot Set, every time he kills the Hawks, he is essentially just guaranteeing his own reincarnation along with theirs. You're probably wondering though why I'm calling him Hot Set and not Vandal Savage. Well, that's because in the comics, Hot Set is a very different character from Vandal Savage, who I will cover in just a moment. It's interesting to note though that they've folded the character of Hot Set into Vandal Savage's origin for this show, and everyone seems to be really hyped on it, and so am I. I love it. I think it's a great way to build up Vandal Savage and tie him into the storylines that they want to lead into Legends of Tomorrow. What I find funny though is that recently everyone kind of went crazy and is upset over the fact that General Zod is getting turned into Doomsday in the Batman vs Superman movie. And I just want to say, hypocrite much? Since I covered the first half of his TV show origin, let's cover the parts about Vandal Savage that actually come from the comics. Now, Vandal Savage made his debut in Green Lantern #10 in 1944. That's the Alan Scott Green Lantern. In that book, he was a caveman who came in contact with a meteorite that granted him immortality and a high intellect. And we see the meteorite storyline kind of weaved into his character in the TV show. In the comics, ever since then though, he's appeared throughout the entire DC history, and has played a large part in real historical events. And he comments on that throughout the show by making remarks about Robin of Locksley, and they tie him to Genghis Khan and I believe Napoleon. In the comics, he's one of the Justice League's greatest villains, and that's actually a really cool thing since he's going to be the main focus of that first arc of Legends of Tomorrow. And this is a kind of character that can basically go up against all of them solo, but he also likes to play characters in the background and kind of work them all against each other. Now, I always like to bring up when Barry uses his speed in different forms, but this time I'd like to focus on Oliver Queen and his magnet arrow. Now, one of the best things about Green Arrow is all of his trick arrows. We've seen the boxing glove arrow already, we've seen net arrows, we've seen arrows that tie people up, and this one we get the magnet arrow that disarms a bunch of ghosts. And I'd love to see more of that throughout the run of this series. In fact, I'd like to just see more of him just using trick arrows like that, because that's what makes Green Arrow fun, and that's kind of been the vibe of this season for him, is this is the fun Oliver Queen. But it wouldn't be Flashbacks if I didn't talk about Barry. Now, this time around we actually get to see him use his speed in a way to make a quick composite sketch of Vandal Savage. Now, what I find interesting about this is that Barry Allen has no artistic background whatsoever, but because of his super speed, he can actually take his time and draw something, make a few mistakes, erase them. We'll never know because it only takes a second for us to get the finished product. But for him, it could have taken him hours just to put that sketch together. Now lastly, before I go, I just want to talk about a quick subplot from the first part of the crossover, which saw Harrison Wells of Earth 2 work with Caitlin Snow to create a drug that's supposed to grant Barry more speed. They named this drug Velocity 6. Now in the comics, there's a drug called Velocity 9, a formula developed by Vandal Savage that can grant anyone super speed, at a cost though. it gives them advanced aging and can lead to their own death. So it's a drug that once it's in their system and they use super speed, it burns out their body real quick. We've seen it perfected and then given to Impulse, and even Bart Allen at one point. Now, I want to bring this up because we see Jay use Velocity 6, and it's possible that this might be how Jessie Quick gets her speed. We won't know until then. But the idea that a drug could have a side effect of advanced aging and it already be used on Jay Garrick, you know, it made a lot of fans start to wonder exactly where they're going to go with this thing. And that wraps it up for this episode of Flashbacks. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys, so sound off in the comments below, let me know what you think. If you've been enjoying the series, leave a like on this video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel and share the links to help the channel grow. Also, our main podcast is finally back, and in the most recent episode we discussed the Captain America Civil War trailer as well as the Batman vs. Superman trailer, and how hyped we are for both of these movies in 2016. I will be back fairly soon because tonight is going to be the mid-season finale, and it's going to be a huge Rogue episode, so it's looking like a banger. Alright, I will see you guys next time. Bye.